Welcome to The Digital Shift. We are your hosts, Jessica Green
and Natasha Roberson. Together, we are here to help you build a tech-savvy empire and take your business to the next level.
If you're an entrepreneur, social marketer, or business owner, ready to scale smarter, not harder, this is the podcast for you.
Every week, we bring you expert insights, actionable strategies, and the latest trends to help you infuse tech into your business so you can automate, optimize, and grow.
From mastering automation and creating high-converting systems to building authentic customer connections, we cover everything you need to shift your business into higher gear.
So grab your coffee, get comfortable, and get ready to make your digital shift.
Let's do this.
Hey everyone, welcome to The Digital Shift. I'm Natasha Roberson here with Jessica Green, and today we're diving into one of the most important topics for any entrepreneur, and that is setting strategic goals with a clear end in mind. If you're ready to start making decisions that align perfectly with your ultimate vision, you're in the right place. So in today's episode, we'll be talking about the concept of beginning with the end in mind and how this approach helps you make smarter decisions, choose the right tech tools, and streamline your journey to success. And Jessica is here to break it all down for us, sharing her insights on aligning goals and scaling with purpose. So let's jump in. Jess, I am so excited to talk to you, get your insights and all of that about this topic. So thank you for being on.
Thank you so much. I'm super excited for us to get the Digital Shift podcast underway. We have so much to share and teach and coach on infusing tech into entrepreneurs' businesses. We help a lot of social marketers, and we've got a lot in our brains over the last 20 years each in the business world and doing social marketing for some time now and really building in tech. But you're right, beginning with the end in mind is one of my favorite topics, so I cannot wait to share.
Absolutely. So I have some questions here that, number one, I love asking about this topic, but I know our listeners are going to get so much from. So I'm going to just dive in. Let's get this thing started. So
All right.
Can you explain what it means to begin with the end in mind and why it's such a powerful approach for business success?
So when we're coaching and training people, you hear me say this all the time, the people who are our hub members and come to our accelerator and do all kinds of things with us, when we're going through a process of any kind, I always say, all right, let's stop for a second. Let's begin with the end in mind. Let's think about the end result, the end picture of you want, whatever that is. If it's a sales process, if it's building a funnel, if it's building an email campaign, if it's doing a new course challenge, if it's building any sort of tech into your business, but it's also any sort of strategy into your business. You could take tech out of this. Begin with the end in mind is one of the 7 habits of the highly effective people. So I had to do an entire in college dissertation on that book, and it was an entire huge project. So I know it really well. And begin with the end in mind is one of those core 7 things in there that just really stuck with me. And it served me extremely well in process and procedure in business, right? So in strategy. So when we're talking about begin with that in mind, and let's say, for instance, someone wants to build a course like challenge with us, or let's call it the other way around, a challenge course with us as like a lead magnet or a sellable product. I always say, okay, let's not get caught up in all the details first. Let's go all the way to the end. And what do you want the prospect, the person, the customer, the person that's going to purchase from you, what do you want them to do? What is the action they actually you want them to take? Is it purchase a product? Is it join your mastermind? Is it buy the coaching course? What is that step you want them to take? And then let's work a little bit backwards from that and map out the process and the plan, because what I find is that people do this completely backwards.
So true. I remember so many times in my entrepreneurial journey I'm so caught up in all it's got to look pretty. It's got to be presentable. It's got to have the right context in there. And then at the end of the day, I was like, I forgot to even tell them to do something. This looks amazing, but it did nothing. It didn't get me the results that I was desiring. I spent all this time on things. And then I remember you saying that the first time It was back in the day. This was before we were working together. We just knew of each other. And you had done a training and I was like, begin with the end in mind. Oh my goodness. That could change everything. And it should change everything for all of you listening to this right now.
Yeah, absolutely. We see it every single day, right? Hats off. I'll say this. Hats off to the executioners, because the people most people have a very hard time executing, like jumping off that cliff and building building the parachute on the way down. Like, hats off to those people, because those are your entrepreneurs. Those are your risk takers. Unfortunately, though, they get to the bottom maybe safely with no anything to sell or a result. And most times, because execution is a problem, somewhere in that process, they get hung up and never get to that end. They don't even know what the end is because they didn't set out with one in mind.
Exactly. Next question I have for you. That was great. How does having a clear end goal influence the decisions you make along the way, especially when it comes to choosing the tools and the technology that you might use when you're looking for that clear end goal and making those decisions?
This is a whole topic in itself, right? So I'll try to keep this short and sweet, though. So because of the world we work in with tech and business owners, people wanting to build stuff that they can turn around and go out there and sell, or they already have a product that they do sell and they want to create sales funnels or marketing tools or systems around that so that they can sell them easier or better or set them on autopilot, right? That's what we really help people do. There's so much out there, right? Like, even our core platform, our middle of the road membership, comes with so many bells and whistles and so many tools. And it's great because it's all in one place and you have access to all of it. But holy moly, can you get lost in the sauce, right? Mm-hmm. Because if you're out there researching, and maybe that's what you're doing, you're kicking tires right now and you're out there researching different platforms and what you might need for this. And listen, Natasha and I are just launching our podcast for the first time. We've been kicking this around for 4 to 6 months. But you got to look at all the tools and the things that you're going to need and how are you going to produce it and all that. So that's a podcast. But if you're trying to build a funnel system and have a CRM and all the things, but you don't have a clear picture of what you want in the end result, you could get lost in the sauce and end up with 10 different platforms plugging into each other and having a whole mess on your hands. Or you could even get started with our core membership and not necessarily be ready for it yet. So that's why we actually realized people were doing this, and we've created a separate membership tier called the Hub Club, which is just where someone can get started if they think about the whole picture, the result they want at the end, but they know that's going to take them maybe 6 months to get to all of that, or 3 months to get to all of that. Let's start off with the basics first. What are some of the simple things that you need? And so that whole premise goes into tech and the tools that you're going to need as well. You want to make sure you have an end goal in mind, and then let's figure out what you need. Let's not do all the things at once. Let's figure out what you need right now for step one, but knowing that you're going to get to the end that you want after it's all put together.
Absolutely. And I ask another question off of that is, they see all of these tools. What is your best advice when they're starting to look at it? Is it just start at one place and go from there? Is it look at it all and then piece it together? What is your advice on that?
Yeah, that's a hard question. I think everybody's it's an individual project. We have people who come in, right, and just want social keyword automation set up because they just want to be able to collect their leads, and build their digital lead list. That's what we talk about all the time. So maybe they just need something simple and they could start with our Hub Club. But we have people who come in with projects that are huge, right? Our big projects, like want to build a full website, want to build 3 marketing funnels, want to have a challenge course built, want to have a membership program and a community and academy. It really depends on what they're doing. But none of this changes the fact that you need to begin with the end in mind. None of it changes that, no matter what your end is for that specific project. And then we set goals around it and we work on those goals one by one to get them done.
I love that explanation of your end goal is to build your digital lead list. Awesome. Start with social automation, right? So you thought about what was that goal you wanted, and then here's where we start. I love that. I absolutely love that. So what advice do you have for entrepreneurs who are struggling with setting long-term goals? And how can they work through those initial overwhelming feelings?
Honestly, it's set a 90-day game plan. And listen, Have we not messed this up ourselves? We are only speaking from advice. Okay. So set a 90-day game plan when you come up with a project and maybe it will take you longer than 90 days to get the project complete, but do a 90-day game plan on what you want to create. Get out your calendar, do everything with a plan, do everything on a plan, do review cycle. That is huge. Create the plan, actually do the plan, and then you can review the plan. But don't do that every 3 weeks because we've done that. And then you end up chasing squirrels all around your front yard. Natasha, chasing squirrels all
Always.
around your front yard.
The squirrels have not been out yet today. I think it's getting a little cold for them. Okay.
Oh, it's starting winter hibernation around here in Michigan. So yeah, it's write out that 90-day game plan. You can find all kinds of templates for a 90-day game plan out there. Planning is huge. But I'll also say on the other side of that, I am a huge executioner. And if you can create all the plans in the world and never execute, so don't fall into that trap either. But if you get out a 90-day map for any project, plan it out, execute, get it started, and then review it in 90 days, then you can redo what didn't work, what did work. We're going to have a guest coming up, and I don't want to spill the beans on that, but she's the pro on this, and she's the one that mentored Natasha and I to be really great at that process. So you want to check out the rest of the episodes coming up because we're going to have the absolute best talking about that subject pretty soon.
I absolutely love that. Yeah. Here, one thing I'll say on that is the setting the long-term goals, that used to scare me because I remember the first time somebody says, what's your 5-year plan? What's your 10-year? I was like, what? I don't know. I don't even know what 2 weeks from now looks like. It scared the living crap out of me. But when I started to get coaching and mentoring on that topic, like you said, with who's coming up in our podcast, when I started to understand, it wasn't the fact that I had to set these goals that I had to stick to because I forgot about the review. I didn't really understand that review part, like plan, do, review, right? Plan it, execute it, and then review it. And I thought, man, if I set something, I either am going to succeed or fail. And I hate failing. So I'm a little scared to do that. Getting that mentoring was huge for me to definitely get that. And then the overwhelm, I'll speak to that as to overwhelm in this is something that is going to happen. It's how you're going to feel overwhelmed. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. But when you take it step by step, when you look at the whole process and you focus on executing the first step, then going to the next, that is what has helped me become a master at execution and leave the overwhelm in my past.
Yep. Couldn't agree more.
So I want to shift a little bit here. In what role does technology play in supporting these strategic goals? And how can a business owner make sure that their technology choices actually help them scale? Oh gosh, I have made some bad decisions on technology in my past. So this is a good question.
I don't think that any of those decisions were bad decisions. It's the tools that were available at the time. And you're a systems person, right? So you knew you needed the tools, you knew you had to put them together. But I don't think anything like what we're doing existed 3 years ago, right? So you had started using tools just to put systems together. And I think that's where a lot of entrepreneurs in our space are stuck right now.
Yeah.
And why people don't get started in our space and infusing tech, because what they've been used to is having to go and get this technology over here and piece it in with this technology over here. And we call that duct taping. It's called duct taping all your systems together. And there's a lot of great systems out there, right? There's email platforms and there's funnel platforms. And then there's social keyword automation platforms. And then there's website platforms. And then there's course building platforms. There's community type platforms. There's tools for everything, right? But man, what a nightmare that can become. And we've watched it where we clean up so many messes. Oh my God. Actually, Natasha's the one that cleans up the messes. It's not me. I would go crazy. I'd pull my hair out. But because she was already duct taping those systems together prior to us creating the Self-Made Hub, she's very familiar with how that's operating out there. And so if you don't have it or organization, if you don't know what you don't know, okay, let me go on a side tangent for a second. We tell people this all the time. Your specialty is whatever it is that you're doing out there. If it's selling health and wellness, if it's a beauty influencer, if you're a commodities, crypto, Forex person, if you're a social media coach, if you're, heck, we have a dentist, a dental surgeon that we're building stuff with right now. And she joined our program to learn how to build this tech herself. And I was like, you know what? Hang on a second. Do you actually have time between your patients? Because she was literally running in and out of the surgery chair, right? No joke, into our accelerator program to learn how to build her funnel while she's literally like replacing people's teeth. And I'm like, hang on. Let's let you be good at what you do and let us be good at what we do. Now, there's a happy medium. Social marketers sometimes want to learn how to deploy all the tech, but they've been duct taping all these systems together. So they come in with all of these different things and they lay it out. And we're like, dang, number one, we could save you a bunch of money. Number two, we're going to save you a bunch of time and frustration, because when you're duct taping all of these systems together, because maybe we didn't begin with the end in mind, you've got a mess on your hands and you don't know whose tech support to use or who to turn to on all of that. If you know you're building a business out there right now, I'm talking to those entrepreneurs, the people who are super excited to go out there and share their product, service, opportunity with the world. And you have that part nailed and you're really good at it, or you're even just learning that part of it and you want to become really good at it. You become really good at that. Lean on us as your tech savvy mentors to tell you what you're going to need to infuse. You don't need to have to go out there and research all of this yourself and figure it out. Now, if you're that green type personality that's just got to know and have all the details, go do your research. But we can help limit some of that for you or eliminate some of that wasted time for you, because we can show you the tools and the processes we have inside of the hub. And we are more than just a platform. It comes with us, your two tech savvy mentors, right? Because we, number one, have a ton of business experience and strategy behind us. We dig in with our members. We want to make sure that you are scaling and you've got your tech infused in the right way. But we've got a system that literally covers all the bases. Natasha was able to take 7 different platforms costing her over $500 a month and squeeze that all into what we do. And our charge for that is $117 a month at this current time. Knowing what that plan is when you get started in business and knowing that you want to build out funnels and you want to have email marketing campaigns and you want all of that, you can have it all under one roof. You can have it with people who will help you and hold your hand along the way. So figure out what your end goal is with all of this and what you do want to deploy in tech. Let's get organized. Let's stop duct taping things together. And then you lean on us over here at the Self-Made Hub to really help you execute on it.
Absolutely. I love everything about that. And we all know now, I've known for a while, but you are really big on beginning with the end in mind. I hear it in our masterminds with our members. When we're talking with the done for you client, you're always like, when we're talking strategy, you're like, okay, hold on, this is all great, but let's begin with the end in mind. And we hear it all the time. So how do you ensure that each action and choice along the way is actually taking you closer to that ultimate vision?
It's the plan, do, review process. Honestly, it's that 90-day game plan. When you start the 90-day game plan, go to the end of the process and first and say, what do I want the outcome to be? Then plan that 90 days around it. Go execute for 90 days. I'm going to laugh about this again because Natasha and I are notorious for coming up with a plan and only testing it for 3 weeks and be like, that didn't work. Let's move on to something else. Man, it's cost us a lot of time. So don't do that. We are getting
sometimes money.
We're recovering 90-day planner experts. So execute for 90 days and then review it, right? Then review it and then you can redo it. You can make some adjustments and start again. Keep what worked, throw out what didn't, and adjust the sales.
Yeah. What are some common mistakes? Let's talk about it. Common mistakes that entrepreneurs make when they don't have a clear end goal. And like, how can they avoid these mistakes being sidetracked from where they're going and really the overwhelm?
So I love this question because I, in my past, started a coaching business. This was prior to really infusing the tech side of things. I was helping people design out their programs and what they wanted to sell and their offers. And it was about a 6-month program, I think. And I had a really great group of people in that program. And we met every single week, mastermind style. Maybe it was twice a week. I can't even remember now but
seems like a lifetime ago.
Yeah. And so I took people through the 6 months and I got to really know all of their businesses and what they were building. And man, we had such a good time. And I started to realize as we were wrapping up that 6 months that people were like, okay, I designed all this stuff. I have it all together. I actually don't know what I do next. And I was like, oh, Lord, we needed to begin with the end in mind 6 months ago because they have all of these assets now and they're not even sure what they're doing with them. So I felt like I had done them a disservice. So we scurried and hurried and started figuring out before the program was over with, hey, what was your goal at the very end of this? So now I don't make that mistake with people anymore. I ask them right from the very beginning, what if, when you get to the very end of this, one thing I say a lot lately, if you could wave a magic wand, and at the end of this, your customers were doing X, Y, Z, what would that be? Is it buy the product? Is it buy this bundle? Is it get into your coaching program? Like I was saying before. And now it's just a whole shift. People then, when they're done with a program with us, are like, oh, yep, ready to rock and roll. Let's launch, because they had already started with that process. So I've made that mistake, even in my coaching programs, of not beginning with that end result first so that they could set up the goals and then build everything around it. And one of the things in that process, I talk about a lot. Now, this is just a little tip that's a side topic, but super important. So I try to remember to say it a lot. You can build out the most amazing funnels, groups, programs, communities, tech, websites, all the things. You can have an awesome product and you can spend 6 months or 90 days or whatever it is building all of this out. You can join our accelerator program and go 10 weeks hard with us building out all of your stuff. If you don't have an audience to sell that to when you're done, none of it matters. So while you're doing this, if you don't already have an audience, you also need to be building this audience along the way. And one person that we've strategically partnered, because we don't do traffic, right? Like traffic's not our game. We plug into your traffic and we make it convert, or we help you make it convert. So we've partnered with Coach Fryer, amazing social media strategist and trainer in that arena. So I highly suggest it. Begin with the end in mind. At the end, you need a network of people. So if you don't already have one and you don't already have a system and process in place for your social media strategy of where you're building that community of people, where you're getting that prospect list from, where you're building your digital lead list from, it's not going to matter when your product is ready to launch and all of this, because you're not going to have anyone to sell it to. I noticed that in that mastermind as well, too, that we built all these beautiful things because they get caught in the process of, ooh, I want these things to sell. I'm like, who are you selling it to, by the way? So make sure you've got that box checked.
Yeah. So on that note, give us an example of how clients do fall into this trap with their tech.
It's just not beginning with a plan, right? It's a shiny object. It's, ooh, what's over there? Ooh, what's over here? Ooh, what's over here? And then having all these things that they're tying together and not having a plan in place in the first place.
Absolutely. Wow. Today, this episode has been incredible, and it's pretty awesome that this is going to be airing as we close out 2024 and we start to move into 2025. As you're sitting down, I know many of us entrepreneurs, I know you, Jess, are big on this, is that last month of the year, we're reviewing to plan for the next year. We're making out that initial 90-day game plan. And if you guys got anything from this podcast, is maybe you need to plan, do, review, right? Begin with the end in mind and then plan it out, execute, and then review, but not too soon. Don't do it like we've done it in the past where we're like, let's shift this, let's adjust. There's small adjustments that can happen. And we'll talk, I know with our guest that's coming up on the podcast, we'll talk about that. But at the end of the day, if you're ready to start aligning your business with a clear vision, it's time to check out the Self-Made Hub. I'm telling you, our platform provides all the tools that Jess has talked about that you need to set, track, and work towards your goals that you have for the end. And guess what? With ease. Not only are the tools easy, but you get mentors along the way. You just want to take a look? Guess what? We have a 14-day free access as we're airing this right now. I can't promise that in the future, but right now, try it for free. Go to self-made.biz, check out what we have, and see how it can support you, your goals, and your journey to success. From the automations to the building your list to the tools that make you have these awesome sales systems, it's perfect for keeping you on track in progress towards your goal, staying consistent with your goals, and making sure that every part of your business is moving in the right direction, beginning with the end in mind, knowing what that end is. So as we wrap up, let's break this down. Today, we talked about starting with the end in mind. Having a clear vision helps you make smarter decisions, choose the right technology, and stay focused on what really matters day to day. Because we can get lost, right? We're moms, we're dads, we have a life, maybe. We have business, maybe you have multiple businesses. Day to day, we can get sidetracked in so many ways. Allow some of the tech to ease that, keep you focused on the right path. It's all about aligning your actions now with where you want to go, knowing where you want to go, and now aligning those actions, right? So I hope this inspired you to take a step back, set those big picture goals, and map out the path that works best for you. Little teaser, because the next episode, we're going to dive into what I love. I love it so much. I mastered it. And so did Jessica. And I'll let you speak on this real quick. But we're going to dive into time management mastery with the expert, our mentor who taught us all of this, Danelle Delgado, where she's going to talk about the keep, start, stop. And one of the best trainings to date, I swear, for my journey as an entrepreneur is clean your clock system. That is what's coming. How excited are you for that episode to come?
Oh, listen, that I don't know how much she'll end up sharing because we haven't recorded that episode just yet. We're getting ready to, but so I don't know how much she'll share about her clean your clock system that she includes in her training programs when you hire her. But it is literally, quite literally, it changed the game for me. Her keep, start, stop, which is embedded into that training and that entire clean your clock training. I think I've watched, I don't know, probably 6 times over the last 6 years. I usually review it during my plan do review process, right? I usually do it at the end of each year so that I can set myself up in January to just run, right? It is that good of a system. She's definitely mastered. I look at Danelle and go, I don't know how that human fits as much as she does into her daily routine and manages the kids and they're all in sports and she's traveling around the world. And so I can't wait for you guys. I'm not going to spill the beans. Like you got to listen to the next episode. You just have to.
Yeah. You have to. Danelle is known for helping entrepreneurs and CEOs win on repeat. So if you want to win on repeat, you better tune in. But she helps them win on repeat with systems that reboot the way you think, the way you maximize your productivity. And trust me, you do not want to miss this one. It's time to take back control of your schedule and your success. So until our next episode, we hope that you enjoyed today's episode. Thank you so much, Jess, for allowing me to interview you and really just share your knowledge, your expertise, and a little about you.
Oh, don't you fret. You're next. Thanks for tuning in to The Digital Shift. We hope today's episode gave you the tools and inspiration to take your business to the next level.
Don't forget, we have something for everyone to help you scale smarter. Whether you're just getting started or ready to go all in, we've got you covered.
Start with 14 days of free access to the Self-Made Hub, our all-in-one platform to automate, optimize, and grow your business.
Looking for more? Check out our Self-Made membership, where you can work at your own pace with help from your tech-savvy mentors.
Or take it to the next level with our 10-week accelerator program, perfect for those ready to scale with expert guidance and systems all in one place.
And if you're looking for done-for-you options, from custom funnel builds to fully done-for-you marketing systems customized just for your business,
visit us at www.self-made.biz to explore all of our programs and tools and find the perfect fit for your business needs.
Let's make your digital shift a reality. See you next time.